Hello, disruptors and viewers from around the globe. We are so happy that you have tuned into Mindset Mastery Moments with Dr. Alisa Whyte, your number one mindset disruptor. You are tuned into a podcast that is a top 1% podcast where we aim to help you shift from limiting belief to success in your life, your business, relationships, and your career. Tune in as we help you unlock the mindset that is key to your success. Hello, disruptors, and welcome to another riveting episode of Mindset Mastery Moments, where we get to navigate the transformative landscape of personal and professional empowerment. And today, we're going to traverse holistic wellness. I am yours truly, Dr. Alisa Whyte, your guide through the realm of personal, professional development, empowerment, and abundance. Yes, today we are going to embark on a journey that explores the intersection of mindset and health in a very, very unique and profound way. Did you know that according to recent studies, emotional eating affects a significant portion of the population, contributing to various health issues? Listen, I have been a victim myself, so I can't wait for this one. As we delve in today's episode, keep in mind that your relationship with food and wellness is a key component of your overall mindset and your personal and professional growth. Let's uncover the transformative power of holistic well-being today with my distinguished and extraordinary special guest. Let me introduce you to a powerhouse in the realm of holistic wellness, a beacon of inspiration, a certified integrated nutritional health and wellness coach. She's also a freelance writer and aerobics instructor, and she joins us today as her journey is the testament to resilience and the power of the human spirit. She is a transformative power of embracing a holistic approach to mindset and well-being. I have the pleasure to introduce to you today, Mindset Mastery Moments community, my friend, my sister, Ambassador Coach Charlotte Manuel. Come on in. Hey, Charlotte. Hey, sis. How are you?
Hello. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me to be a part of Mindset Mastery Moments. And we're going to talk about wellness and we're going to get well today. Thank you so much.
We are going to get well today. And let me tell you, this episode has been long coming and we literally fought through the battlefields to get here. So without further ado, I've got to tell you a little bit more about Ambassador Coach Charlotte Manuel. Well, she was born in New Jersey, USA, and Charlotte spent her summers in South Carolina cultivating a deep appreciation for quality foods. Over 17 years ago, she embarked on a personal journey to overcome emotional eating and deprivation diets, which, listen, especially us ladies, we know what that's like. I have been on, I think, all of them by now, leading to physical illness. Today, she stands as a beacon of empowerment, holding degrees in business management and sociology. Charlotte's commitment to holistic wellness goes beyond personal triumphs. She's graduated the Institute of Integrative Nutrition in Revelation Wellness. She's also Revelation Wellness certified instructor and currently pursuing studies in herbalism. Oh, I can't wait for her to get that done because she's going to treat me with herbs because I do not want to take another pill for anything. She's also recently recognized and the winner of the Global Women of Choice Awards for holistic wellness, and that is just such a phenomenal category. She's recently been appointed Global Impact Envoy for Mindset Mastery 360, where I get to be her colleague and friend and sister in the boat of just touching lives globally. As a mom, wellness coach, and a leader of wellness ministry, Charlotte's impact extends to educating and supporting communities about physical and emotional health. In 2020, she founded her own health and wellness coaching business, guiding individuals to building healthy connections with food and their environment. Charlotte is on a mission, and it's rooted in teaching balanced nutrition and nurturing and using strategic approaches for lifelong transformations. Let's prepare ourselves. Grab yourself a glass of water, a glass of water. And let's be inspired as we delve into Charlotte's remarkable journey and gain insights into mastering our mindsets for holistic well-being. Let's welcome and give another round of virtual applause for my sister and friend, Ambassador Coach Charlotte Manuel, to Mindset Master Moments. We're so happy to have you here, sis. Let's have you tell us who you are and what you love to do, and why is holistic wholeness so important to even start from our mindset.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that amazing introduction. I wasn't expecting that. But I will say my journey starting 17 years ago, I want to pose a question to all of you, to the audience, just understanding and just trying to get you to understand, to take off the covers. Do you have on covers? Think about that. Do you have on covers? I think all of us, women, men, we put so many other things in front of us being well, and our image is often taken over or often kind of explained based on other people's opinion. And so we kind of fall into those different characters, to our children, whoever, we're mommy. And then to people we work with, whatever character they give us, that's who we play out the role. But who are we to ourselves? Let's be honest. Let's get really deep. Who are we to ourselves? So for me, that was a really, really big, and that was part of my emotional eating recovery journey, is because I was doing so many other things, and I was being with other people saying, oh, you're good at this. Oh, you're good at that. And not knowing who I was meant to be, what I should be, what I liked, what I really didn't like. I really didn't articulate myself as much as I needed to. And so because I suppressed all of that, became a big struggle for me in terms of emotional eating. Wow. Now, there's many different types of emotional eating. We have angry emotion. We have angry eaters. We have the ones that kind of people pleasing type of eating. We have scared eaters. We have so many different type of emotional eaters. And I kind of feel like, to me, I felt like I was more of the scared, because I really didn't reflect who I was and all the passion that I had about so many things. So it's really important for everyone to just take that time and say, what do I like? We have our families and we like their input. We have our professional arena. If you're an entrepreneur, you have all of the input you may get from your clients and the things that you do in this world. But you still want to take that time to know, what do you like? What do I like? Where do I like to go? Sometimes we have to say no, like, you would like to go, but I'm not interested right now. You have to say it in a nice way, of course. Right. But you do want to be true to yourself and what's real to you. Sometimes we sacrifice, but we shouldn't be sacrificing all the time.
Oh, wow. You said take off the covers. I'm still sitting here and I'm like, okay, what covers do I need to take off? And what is she going to do to me today? I'm ready. It's so fascinating. I love that. We absolutely. And I like that you said emotional eating, and there's so many versions, and I have no idea. I did not know that. That is so fascinating to me. And you mentioned that it's so much. And I think when it comes to our relationship with food, nationally here in the US and globally, it's becoming something very interesting, because recently I just learned that over 80% of Americans are overweight in some form or fashion. The obesity numbers are coming in at about 60% of us are in obesity. Like, you're not talking overweight, because there's overweight and then there's obesity. And so I can only imagine, when you talk about overeating and in your line of work, how many people actually are like, oh, I'm just a little bit chubby. Well, can you tell us what is the difference between overweight and obese? Because I feel like we downplay one over the other, but the thing is, I really want our audience to kind of capture what the difference is and what the dangers are with the two.
Absolutely. Overweight is kind of possibly being a little bit out of control, not being aware. We talked about that awareness, and not being aware. And you maybe have picked up some habits, or either you're on automatic pilot and you're just going through life. You have breakfast this time, you have lunch this time, you have dinner, then you have dessert. Who says that you have to do any of those things at those particular times? Right. So it's just, you can easily get back in control. But typically when we talk about obesity, it can be almost considered like a sickness or illness, because at that point, they can't help themselves. That's why it's sick. They cannot come back from wherever they are. And a lot of these people, they don't want to be that way. It bothers me when some people give the harsh comments. They don't want to be that way. They don't want to be that way. It's just gone too far. So that's why it's important to kind of get a grip now and take that time for yourself and figure out what you want to, that will take a lot of weight off of your emotions. And emotional eating, sometimes that's a habit as well. I mean, I'll tell you about me. One time, every night around 10:30, I will come up to bed with all of my snacks and my drinks. That for me was like a void I was feeling. That was my company. That was all of the things that I didn't articulate, all the things that I wanted to say, but didn't say. So I covered them up with the food and my snacks. So that's what I did. So there is a big difference between overeating and obesity, or overweight and obesity, because typically being a little overweight, you can come back a lot quicker. But in both of those situations, what really concerns me is a lot of times, a lot of us are overweight or obese because it's not even our fault sometimes. We're just a lot of in terms of our weight and obesity and gaining weight and even struggling, losing weight is really not, a lot of it's not our fault. We don't even know. There's many different names for sugar. Typically what's mostly in the actual food or snack is particularly what's the first thing when you read the ingredients. And I would ask anyone to please try to learn to read ingredients. You don't have to know every single thing. Sometimes I just skim, but whatever you're working on, whatever is an issue for you, if you like a lot of sugar, if you like a lot of salt, if you like a lot of kind of grains and things like that type of nature, you want to look at what's in there, because the most proportion of what's in there is going to be the first ingredient. So you want to be aware of that. So many chemicals in there. I always say, if you have something with more than 4 or 5 ingredients and the other ones you don't know what they are, it's probably not something good. Typically, those are things that you can't even make at home. What I would say is natural are things that you can make in your kitchen. You can buy, you can find them, you can get herbs and things of that nature. But if you cannot make it in your kitchen, it's mostly most chemicals. So that's the problem. Yeah.
Ooh, you said everything that I've learned, and that has been. So let's just talk about it. I'm going to be honest. And a lot of people don't believe when I say this, I have been obese for a lot of my life, and I still am technically hanging on the obese side, even though my weight has been coming down. I've literally probably lost about 30 pounds in the last 3 or so months almost. And it also, I want to tell our listeners that you had something that I had already started on. You had a 30-day sugar detox. And we're going to get into the sugar detoxing and how sugar really affects our body. We're going to talk about insulin a little bit because I know you're the expert, and I actually learned some things that I've literally been treating myself. When you talk about the packets, like right now I have a packet up, and we're not advertising, or I don't get any pay for this, but this is a pack of baked cheese bites by Wisp, and it says 13 grams of protein on there. 0 sugar, 1 gram of carbs. But I will say to the audience, to back up what you just said, Charlotte, this is one of the things I stay away from. Anything that comes in a package. So I bought 2 packs of these, and the reason why I bought it's because I'm on a more keto-based diet. But like you said, a lot of the things on the packet, if there's 5 things I recognize and the rest I don't, this does not have that many things. It's really just baked cheese, right? But I still signed to the fact that this was not made in my kitchen. And so I still don't know what's in it. Now, when it comes to this, I actually figured out how to put my own cheese in the oven and get it crispy and crunchy. So this was it was on sale for $1, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get some and I'll munch on it. And it could go on. I take a week to even eat that. But the advice you just give us, based on the fact that we don't even want to be obese, we don't want to be overweight, we don't want to overeat. So what is it that makes us do it anyway?
Okay, again, that's talking about your specialty mindset. It's kind of thinking about our thoughts, and what we think about the most, we're going to do, as with anything. So if you don't realize that I've done it too. Sometimes we wake up in the morning thinking about what we're going to have for lunch, what we're going to have for dinner. And some of us, unfortunately, even when people are on diets, the one thing that I always tell my clients, you typically, when you're on a diet, if you don't think about it, you are thinking about food all the time, because you're eating a lot less. And if you're doing it, doing a lot of restricting really quickly, you're going to be craving. Your cravings are going to be out of control. So we kind of like to do it gradually. That's the best way to do it. But it's out of control because people you're hungry. That's all we think about is food. So what I teach people, we want to have food freedom, but we also don't want to idolize food. Food is here to nourish us. We don't, it kind of, I don't like diets because they make me feel shame. They make me feel bad. Oh, I'm eating too much. Oh no, I did a bad thing. And we don't want to consider, we're not bad. We don't want to think of ourselves. We're human beings. So I tell people to give yourself compassion. Be kind to yourself, just like we do to other people. We ask them how they're doing. We ask them how they feel, but we don't ask ourselves. And that was like so mind blowing for me when I was like, no, I never asked myself how I'm doing. So it's like, I tell people, practice that. And it kind of freeing because you're like, wow, and even if you say it out loud, if you can get a mirror and do that, or you can write it down or verbalize it and read it back to yourself, it lets something out of you. It's freeing. It's emotional healing. It's another process to that. So yes, none of us want to be obese, but we think about food all the time. And
we need to stop shaming people for that.
Absolutely.
Even in our thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally true. What you said about kind of pacing yourself, even with your snacks, you're able to do that. But people that are some people can't do that. They're suffering. They can't do it. So it needs another way and some people say, I don't have time. That's one of my clients' biggest things. I don't have time. Because it's not a priority.
It's not a priority. Yes. Yeah. That one of my students reminded me the other day in my employability training that, Dr. Whyte, you said that if I don't get it done, it's because I don't want it bad enough. And I'm like, if I said that to you, smart version of me, thank her, because that is exactly it. I mean, we make time for what's important to us. You make time for your kids, you make time for your spouse, you make time for your job. You don't just, I'm not going in today. You're like, I'm going in today. You make time for that money to catch those coins, as they would say. So we just stepped into a zone here with the mindset thing, because that is something that I love about your practice as a holistic wellness coach. You do work a lot on mind. And as you said, it doesn't matter what diet you're on. What are you thinking? And so my question for you is, how do you get people who tell you, I don't have time, who tell you, I don't want to be fat, but this is where I'm at? Where do they start? Because it is my understanding from my own journey that there's certain things and certain hormones in some of us that just makes us help us have that incline to think about food a lot and actually find it harder to exercise the willpower. So where do you tell clients like that to start?
What I tell clients like that to start, typically when they're like, I'm hungry all the time, we kind of pull back. I don't put them in a position where they have to punish themselves. I just like the sugar detox. I say, don't right away, just pull it out, replace it. So you can eat if you're used to eating 5 times a day. I don't want you right away to stop eating 5 times a day, because you're not going to be successful, because you're going to struggle and you're going to be like, it's not going to be a power of wheels all day. So what I do is tell them typically to put all the foods that they like. We do like a list where we put down all the things that they really enjoy, that are really important, and we find healthy substitutes for them. Some people, I actually go to the grocery store with them, because we know we're supposed to shop the perimeter of the store, right? But people have that, that tantalize the inside. Oh, no, that you can't think about no aisles, because one day you're just going to go through the no aisle and just pull everything off the shelf that you like. So
because you stopped yourself for so long, I was like,
yes. So it's like, replacing some of those things that are not so healthy for you with some of the healthier things. And I give you options. We do recipes and try to figure out what they like, because some people don't know what they like. They're just grabbing stuff from the store and they like what's there. But what type of taste do you really like? Do you like spicy? Do you like tangy? Do you like sweet? What do you really crave? And then we try to work through that. And as they go through it, they start to pull back and they don't need as much. So it's a process, but they get there. If you're committed to it, it's what you want. I'm like, it's what you want. And I want it too, what I want. So I can help you do it, but are you committed to the process?
Exactly.
But after about 30 days, they feel great. People start to feel good, and then they do a little better. Not that you're not going to have something every once in a while. It's your birthday, celebrate, have that piece of cake, whatever you want. Don't deprive yourself, but you have established the benefits of it. And so that's what makes you get back on it, even if you have a bad day.
Right. And I love what you said, food freedom. And not going in, and that's why I tell people everyone has a diet. Let's start there. Diet was we use the word diet to include that restriction process. Now, that is not food freedom. I love her concept of food freedom. I'm so on that because I tell everyone I have the freedom to eat whatever I want. But however, every type of food is not beneficial to my body and the goals and vision I have for myself. So knowing that, I know that I make certain choices. And so I remember telling everyone I have an 80-20 rule on my food. And so because I have not hit my goal weight yet, my restriction now is I have a 95.5%. Okay. And I can go back and forth, but I in my commitment to myself is to stay in the 80-20 space. Now, I might find that doesn't work for me down the road. Obviously, that's why I haven't met my goal weight yet. So now I'm on the 95.5, but I'm also in search of and creating a pathway for myself that is going to be mine. And so just this morning, after the last 3 months, intermittent fasting and a more ketogenic based diet has become my thing because it's empowering me to close off a lot of the food noise because I'm full because of the type of foods I'm choosing. And I keep saying I because I want you to understand, and I'm sure Coach Charles is going to tell me that what works for me might not work for you. And so you're going to have to try different types of diet and different types of lifestyles, right? At different points. If you are committed, like Coach Charles said, you are committed to being healthy. We didn't say have the rocking body of your dreams. We're not there yet. That might be the second half of this show because Coach Charlotte has hers, or at least what I think is a rocking body. She'll tell us. But what do you tell clients who still are stuck in this mindset? Like you're doing the things with them, but they still have the battle of, I feel restricted. They're not in food freedom. What do you deal with as far as mindset on that? What
I typically do is number one, the growth mindset. To me, that's so large because it's not, don't worry about where you are now. Right. Where do you want to be 4 weeks from now or 6 months from now? And just like you said, I like something that you said, you just kept saying I and mine, because just like you said, what works for one doesn't work for the other. But a lot of times, even though we hear that, people they see, oh, this person's doing this diet, this person's doing that, oh, this person's not doing the diet but doing that. But some people, they get upset and then they start to feel guilty because they're like, I tried to fast, I can't fast. I like fasting too. It's quick results and it does. So fasting is not a diet at all. What I love about fasting, it is a way of life. It is a healing process. It helps your body to release so much. So if you can do it, but see, even people that want to fast and can't do it. Some people I know work different schedules, and people that work night, I tell them, don't do the 16-8. Maybe for you want to fast for 14 hours and eat for 10 hours, but be mindful of what you're putting in. So there's different things you can do. It's never that I can't do this. Let's find out what works for you. So kind of what I do in terms of people that feels I'm still stuck. Don't worry about tomorrow. Where are you right now? Where are you right now? Right now, you're stuck. Okay, we have a conversation. We talk about you, what you're doing, what works for you, what's happened, what has been your obstacles. That's a big thing. Let's find what your obstacles are. And let's work through at least 2 of those obstacles. So, and that's all we're going to do for today or for the week, what do you feel comfortable with today or the week? And we do baby steps.
Perfect. Oh my goodness. Baby steps and the present. We just did an episode with Dr. Eric Recker, who talks about when in the now, Charlotte. Remember that episode? And that is the essence of everything. From mindset perspective, when we look back to the past, we are embracing depression and oppression. And when we look forward too much, we are embracing a whole bunch of anxiety. If we stay now, there is peace. And a resolute sense of direction. Then you can know, because it's always like, where am I right now? So put your GPS on and it's like, where am I right now? Because if the GPS can't pick up a signal for where you are right now, it would not be able to tell you how far and where to go. So I love that. Thank you, Charlotte, for that. So we're going to take a break and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. We are back with the unconquerable ambassador, Coach Charlotte Manuel, my dear friend and sister, and colleague in Mindset Mastery. She's one of our leaders at Mindset Mastery 360. So if you are wanting more of the fire and the flame of getting your holistic wellness together, you're going to find out where to get in touch with her, but you can always find her right where we're at mm360.org. Okay, so Charlotte, we want to dig in a little bit with your journey, right? I think one of the things I loved as I got to know you, I became fascinated with a concept that I share with a lot of people, no matter what topic I talk about. I always pry a little bit into their childhood, because it's so fascinating how our early experiences shape our perspectives. Can you tell us more about your upbringing in New Jersey and how those summers in South Carolina influence your views on food and wellness? Because I think I got an idea, but I want you to share it with us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, my days and my years in New Jersey as a child were very good, but we went back and forth from the city to the suburbs because my grandparents live in the suburbs. So I enjoyed both lifestyles. The city for me at times could be overwhelming. And I'm a person, I wouldn't say I'm introverted. I'm introverted, but I'm in between. Like when I'm out, I'm very sociable, but I do like to take that time and just pour into myself and just relax and just enjoy being. But the summers in South Carolina were amazing. How that came about, my grandparents on my father's side, they moved to South Carolina, I think when I was like 4. And so I began going down there every summer, and it was like a whole new world for me. I picked up an accent and everything, but my mom would be like, "What?" I came back. But the interesting thing about that, which does shape where I am today, is they raised their own cattle. They raised their own food. They had some food that, animals that they kept as pets, and they had some that they raised. They had their chickens, they had geechees, all kinds of different things, cows, and I watched them.
What's geechee?
It looks kind of like in between a turkey and a chicken. And it has like dark kind of feathers. But anyway, I kind of learned a lot of different things down there, but I actually watched them feed the cow and kind of raise it and prepare it and all of those, and the fruits and vegetables. I had my own little grape tree that they built, that they raised for me. So it was just pretty amazing. Growing up in South Carolina just made me appreciate the outdoors and nature and just God's creation. So I think I went fishing, dropped a fishing pole. I had so many experiences, but what it taught me overall is that whatever comes from the earth is best. And what I did not too long ago, I went on a Daniel fast, and I was trying to do it correctly because one time I did it incorrectly. I took away salt. Everything had to come from the earth. It was fruits, vegetables, and things of that. I currently today don't eat meat because of that. And I never recommend to anyone to not eat meat. It's your choice. But for me, I feel so much better. I feel so much free. Now, what I tell some people like, well, don't you miss this? Well, don't you miss that? I said, well, I kind of watch. I think because of South Carolina, I know what chickens look like down there, and I knew what they in the store. Like, they're so big.
Yes.
I mean, the drumsticks are so big, and the wings. I'm like, and they don't really taste like much of anything. So I'm like, I really don't miss it. I'm like, if I could actually grow my own animals and my own meat in my yard, and I would absolutely eat meat. But I'm like, I have no clue what's going into these animals. So when I did eat meat, I did start to kind of we have like Amish markets up here. It's fresh, and you could tell the difference. The sausage from the Amish market, fine. The sausage from the local grocery store gave me bad indigestion. So I just started to pay attention to my body and see how things, reacted to me. And then if I could feel better, why not? And still eat great food. I really don't miss it, but.
Right. So you're vegan or vegetarian?
I don't call myself any, to be honest. I call myself, I would be closer to a pescatarian. But one thing used to bother me, and I understand when you have the food police, your people that are, what are you eating? What are you doing? And I'm like, I would go places and they'd be like, oh, what are you? You're a vegan. And I'm like, do I have to be anything?
I'm
Can I just be a
Charlotte.
person?
Hi,
I'm
I'm Charlotte.
me. I just want to be me. I'm like, so I'm more in between, I would say pescatarian, I'm
Right.
not a person that, oh, if, some chicken gravy falls into my greens, I'm going to flip out. I'm not like that. So.
Okay, you just don't eat the meat.
Right.
Okay, got you. And I love the unsubscribing. I think the obsession, it's like I was listening and I started to study, what do they call it carnivores? The carnivore diet. I think it's best for me to say that. And the doctor that was teaching this, she said that, there's so many different versions. It's a spectrum. And she's talking about how the highly restricted carnivore diets and I sat laid in my bed and I'm like, and I say this, and you can comment on this, Charlotte. It's okay. Like I said earlier, we're going to have to figure out what works for us. So it's okay to today be 100% vegan, and then tomorrow be 100% on a carnivore type diet, which for me, I have no judgment because that's what you choose and you can go back and forth. And I don't care when you're around me and I'm responsible to support your eating, I'm like, what makes you comfortable? What do you want? And I'm like you, I don't want to be called anything. Hi, I'm Alisa. That is who I am, Alisa. Everything else is a thing. It's not me, right? So tell us, with this, I want to pivot a little bit and dig into your journey a little bit more. Your journey takes just such a significant turn as you face your emotional eating and physical illness that you share about in your journey. Can you share more about what part of your life and how it led you to your passion for helping others overcome similar challenges?
Absolutely. I think, let me see. I would say it really truly started when, I don't know how old I was, but anyway, I had a toddler. I had a 2-year-old and I had a treadmill in the house. Sometime I got on it, sometime I didn't. But it was harder because she was on the treadmill trying to get on there. And I'm like, okay, this is not good. And so for me, going out, finding a group, and I tell a lot of people that have trouble working out, finding a group or something where you're comfortable, find what you like to do. I mean, I like to dance, but I started doing Taibo, and it was funny because somebody asked me, oh, I thought you were doing for 6 weeks. I was like, well, I signed up for another 6 weeks. And initially, I didn't start to change my diet or anything, but it made me feel good. I felt so much better. I had so much energy. And I think a big part of it, again, for that social emotional wellness was I met people, I met friends, and, it brought in that social health for me. And that was necessary, right? Especially if you have a little one at home. So you need to get out. And a lot of moms, they don't get out. You need to get out and be a real person, be who you are, figure out who you are after parenthood, after being a wife, and, all of those types of things, you still have value. So that was a big part for me in the social, emotional, and physical. And after a while, I think I did that for like 8 years. And I actually we actually did kind of shows for like fundraisers for cancer. So I did Zumba. I did so many different things. I love working out now. But after a while, what happens is you get your own independence and I said, after a while, I don't want to do this no more. But I found other things to do. I did aqua fitness. I was doing anything and it just excited me. You meet new people. I just like learning new people and learning new cultures. And what do people do? Let's do it. As long as we can be healthy, we can move. I tell people you don't have to exercise because that fitness exercise gym kind of gives some people like, oh no, it's too much.
Right.
So I tell them, if you go home, some days it was raining, I walk up and down the steps 40 times. At least I did something. Right. Whatever worked. While you're kitchen cooking, dance. So that kind of started it for me in terms of really getting into it and finding who I was. And then the emotional piece, the outlet, just being able to outlet. And one day I just sat in the bed and I start crying because I was like, oh my God, I'm an emotional eater. And it just hit something in me that never. So I think everybody has their turn to wake up. If you want to be woke, if you want to,
you want to be woke.
Some people are so comfortable in where they are.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm agreeing with you. If you want to be woke, the thing about emotional eating, I think that's one of the first things to realize that you are emotionally eating, and you can also be emotionally not eating.
Mm-hmm.
I made that up. I haven't heard it spoken about, but I've seen it, so I recognize it, and I've also lived it. I found when I realized that I had and let's just face it, we live in a world where I'm starting to think most of us, if not all of us, somehow are emotionally eating, because we live in such a highly stimulated environment. I mean, and I know this is not just the US because I've been to different countries around the world. I am from originally a different country. And I remember growing up in Guyana, South America, which is commonly called now a lesser developing country, but it's actually, we call it third world country. That's what it's always called. And I remember growing up there and what size and fitness level I was. And then how quickly in a year I packed on about 40 pounds of me arriving in the USA. I remember that whenever I didn't cook and we bought food, it was prepared in someone's kitchen. Not or someone's home. Because we have this thing called a snack it. And the snack it, it's like grandma or auntie or uncle and a group of people cooking in a small sort of hut, but they had the food being prepped fresh, right? I remember my aunt, hi Aunt Pauline, if you're listening, she had one of those, and it was one of the most popular ones in Buxton. And I like to make reference to cities on this podcast because I know that Guyanese around the world listen, and this kind of brings that warmth to them. So when I say I know a lot of you might not know what I'm talking about, there's a group of people in the world who, from a small little country, 73,000 square miles, less than a million pop, we know it. And I love to pay homage to where I'm from, because we're on that part of this segment with Charlotte where we're talking about how your childhood does shape you, and emotions are so connected in food choices, regardless if you think you're an emotional overeater or not. I think we're all just emotionally indulged with foods. I think emotions is behind everything, because emotions is energy in motion. So to back that up, these foods that we would buy, we would get in boxes, yes, but it's home cooked food still. And that was predominantly what it would be the equivalent of fast food, but there was nothing fast about it. Because my Aunt Pauline, and when I would spend summers with her like you did in South Carolina, this would be countryside, she started early. She was marinating chicken from the day before and letting the marinade soak in. And then she'll get the rice and she'll cook it, and she'll get vegetables and have vegetables. We chop vegetables and put it in the rice and made fried rice. And then everything was just made with love and from scratch. So what was the difference between that and my home? It was a break. That's what it meant. But the fast food industry started to come into Guyana around the late 90s, early 2000s. I moved to the USA very early in the 2000s. So just about when I was moving to the US, we had already had KFC and Pizza Hut. We had one national fast food chain that was called Chicken House. Y'all remember Chicken House? But that was I think it was only about 3. And it was the only reason it qualified for fast food because Pizza Hut, which I was one of the assistant general human resource manager for all the franchises, and KFC I was. And that was the first job I ever did, and I did that on purpose. We'll talk about it in another episode. That was the only fast food I knew. And the other one that was Chicken House, they cooked and marinated the chicken, but it was battered and deep fried. So I would say that was fast food too, but those were it. So I was not, everything I saw that was penetrating me as far as a Kit Kat or a Klondike bar. And I always talk about Klondike bar because when you're sitting in Guyana or anywhere in the world, you don't know what a Klondike bar is. You just see this yummy, and the song is so good and thick, so rich for for a Klondike bar. You remember those commercials? And I'm thinking, God, I can't wait to get to America to get a Klondike bar. Well, I didn't like it, but that was just one of the things that I saw on commercial every day that I was watching, The Young and the Restless, or, the Today Show, or all that. Now, imagine for me being 100 and about 28, 30 pounds, 4'11" in Guyana, South America, maintaining that weight for 24 years of my life, I was also deliberate. I worked out every day. But commonly, I also walked everywhere I went. And this is a bit of a long story because we got into taxi and then we would walk to go shopping. So there was a lot of walking. And then I included exercise. I did aerobic exercise on my own in my living room. And then I went walking for a mile. Sometimes in the afternoon, I'll get a couple of friends or family members and just made a couple miles around the neighborhood. My point is, when I moved to the USA, now all those things I saw in the commercial, it was available. You go to Walmart. I mean, Walmart was next door to my first residence in the USA. You should have seen my happy butt. I'm getting out of Walmart $500 in the buggy because I have bought every processed thing I ever dreamed of, and I was buying stuff and cooking stuff and creating stuff. What on earth is a meatloaf? Let me make one of them. Get them out of the Stouffer's box. And so I'm thinking about us globally, guys. And I know that's a long story because what happened is that same thing, the availability of everything I saw on TV has creeped into the majority of society. I mean, if I talk to my friends in Ghana, shout out to Ghana and Nigeria, and there's some supermarkets that have all these brands now. And the billboards are everywhere and the commercials are there. So when I was in India, they had KFC. It was there. It was everywhere in New Delhi. So there's no shortage. It's like you see it now, you go get it. But when we were growing up, it wasn't available. You said South Carolina, South Carolina, just the best one, after Florida, the next best sweet tea state and seafood. I've been there and I love it. But my point, I always think about this home cooked goodness. You talked about the farm and all that. That's what I grew up with. I had my own chickens as a young child that I went out in the morning with my grandparents and got eggs from the fowl. And so I still tell people I don't know what chicken is here because that's not it. That ain't it. And even the organic ones, that ain't it. That isn't it. It's it. I don't know. It don't taste the same. And so my point for that long brief is all the junk is way more accessible than the good stuff. So are we emotionally eating? Yeah. If you find yourself going to Burger King at 1 a.m, you're probably not hungry. You just saw it enough times and you're longing for it. Even though you might be fit and healthy, supposedly, you are only reaching for this stuff because it's accessible. And we can tell you the difference. I can tell you the difference because I know what it meant for me to see those commercials over, but have no access to it. The only access I had was what was in the cabinets that I could cook. What can I cook? So guys, listen to this. Listen, Charlotte, you know what I did? I went back to that. I let the commercials be the commercials. I let the billboard be the billboard. And I went back to my kitchen. And that's where it started. I made a deal with myself. I was like, this is pretty simple. You maintain that weight. How are you going to get back to where you were? It's what did you do when you weren't overweight? What did you do? What was your lifestyle? So all the wonderful things. Now we're doing research now and finding out what Coach Charlotte thinks, what she's teaching, what Dr. Mindy Peltz is talking about. And I'm throwing out her name because I absolutely love her. She talks about fasting like a girl. So some women might want to check that out. It's one of my biggest things. She's really helped me get into my fasting lifestyle, which works for me. But what I want to say, Charlotte, and ask you to close out this segment is how much of what we are doing is really on autopilot and how much of it is really us with the whole story I just told you. I wanted to put that imagery out there because why we do what we do is going to be the key to the mindset behind this holistic wellness that she's building us up on here. So tell us, are we on autopilot and we're not just really thinking about what we should be thinking about when it comes to food and wholeness?
Most of the time, most of us that are not in any type of health wellness community do not have those conversations. What I tell people a lot of times that want to be healthy and they say, well, my family history, I mean, we all have family history that probably wasn't the healthiest, some of it as well. But the thing is, I tell them, find people that want to be healthy, find people that are talking about, find out what they're buying. You know, people nowadays, there's someone healthy everywhere you go. So find out, ask questions, just like we ask questions for other things. Get curious about yourself, how your body acts, and find out what's going on. But a lot of us, we like to stay in that autopilot because, to be honest, the majority are going into that fast food and the quick stuff. We're not taking time. And that's a big part of being well as well. Sometimes we have to pull back because it's like, okay, this is not part of my wellness journey. It's too much, and then you're going and you're eating out, going out, and you're not consciously, just nourishing yourself. Like, food is meant to nourish us. It is a good thing. And I enjoyed your story. I like what you said about kind of some of the things you did, talking about emotional eating. You spent time with your grandparents. You went walking with your family. Those are key components as well, because that stuff kind of takes your mind off of what am I going to eat next, because you're getting fed better when you talking to people, having a good time, smiling, enjoying yourself. That feeds you more than any type of food. Really.
Welcome back to Mindset Mastery Moments. We're back with Coach Charlotte Manuel for our segment on balancing nutrition and nurturing. I love that you have a holistic approach, Charlotte, in your practice. When it comes to balancing nutrition and nurturing, how do you guide individuals to building life transformation through strategic nutrition and self-care strategies? Self-care is so important.
Yes. The main thing I do, first we kind of start with, especially with a lot of people that don't have any self-care time, we firstly start with ways that they can increase their self-care time, even if it's 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night. We want to be able to build some type of routine. Sometime it's the middle of the day. It's important that we do a self-check-in. And what I like to call it is a body scan. Start from your head to your toe and recognize how you feel. If you want to document it so you can check the next day to see how you feel, that is a part of nourishing and taking care of your self-care. Self-care does not have to be kind of going to getting a massage, although those things are great, getting your hair done. Those are nice too, but we want to start, true self-care starts with what can you do for yourself, knowing how you feel, and how you actually incorporate nutrition in with that. You think about in the morning, what makes you feel good. For me, eggs in the morning do not feel good to my stomach. Your digestive system is very important to your whole body. So everything kind of flows from what we eat, and it kind of goes out into our other organs and our blood vessels. So we want to have things that make you feeling good in the morning. Dr. Alisa said something about ice cream. I'm not a big ice cream eater, but I do have times where I do want ice cream. So we want to think about including things that we like, in addition to things that make us feel good at that particular time of day. Now, feeling good, I don't mean taste good, because some things that taste good, then afterward we feel sluggish, we can't walk, we can't run. I always say, if I can't run after I have a meal, not directly after, if I'm kind of done for the afternoon, then that's not something I want to put into my body, because we want to think about, again, nourishing and self-care. So we constantly go back to that mindset. What does it look like? What is it giving you? Or what is it taking away? And some people choose to continue to have things that kind of take away from them. But what is important is knowing that is a choice, and knowing how much it is taking away from you. So if you make that choice today, that's your choice. But the next day, choose something different, and never feel guilty or ashamed of your choices, because that affects your emotional wellness. Just make a better choice the next time if it's done. So that's where you include the self-care, nourishing yourself, your mind, your body, your spirit, reading. So instead of listening to TVs, listening to great podcasts, feeding your mind and your spirit. Fall asleep with some soothing music, nothing that's going to affect you, that's going to keep you awake. I hate to listen to or watch any type of shows that have a lot of action, or if there's any type of horror shows or anything like that, because that's going to cause you to not have good sleep and good rest. And when you are resting, your body is healing, it's repairing. But sometimes if we're eating right before we go to sleep, especially junk food, and then we're watching something that's not so good for us, or we're listening to something, or we're in an environment that is toxic to us mentally, emotionally, and physically, that is going to affect how food then again turns into nourishment for us as well. So all of those things are very important for nourishment, pleasure, and that self-care component, as well as adding the food that your body really, really needs to be strong. So we go over a list of foods that help to keep you strong, and then to build on those, we kind of evaluate how those feel. So I take them one step at a time, and I let them have contact with me to let me know. Sometimes we have a 10-minute kind of emergency call if they're stuck, and I do that just to kind of jump in and keep them going. We don't want anyone to be discouraged.
Oh, wow. That's good coaching, guys. That is coaching and support from the holistic perspective. I love it. And so let me tell you all this. Coaching is one of the biggest breakthroughs in society. I believe in therapy, of course, but the difference between coaching and therapy, real quick, is that therapy will help you figure out the why. Coaching will help you do the work that's required to remedy the why that you've unearthed it in therapy. So if you've had to go to a therapist because of eating disorders or health disorders, whether or a doctor for heart, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, when you get a coach like Charlotte that's looking at you as a whole being, and I'll tell you what, even doctors that are in the field of medicine, I got really frustrated in my health journey because they literally treated me like I was 10 or 6 different people. I got a cardiologist. I got a gastroenterologist. I got a hematologist. I got a GP. I got oh my goodness, I got a OB. I got an OBGYN. And it's like, okay, guys. And then they're all telling me different things as if I only have a kidney. I only have a heart. I only have blood. I only have... And no one is really coming together. And I really searched until I found the doctor who looked at everything they said, all their reports, then did testing, and sat with me as a person. And I was bawling in that doctor's office because what the gynecologist wouldn't listen to me about and take into consideration, because he don't know. And a hematologist is not thinking. He was able to look at everything and look at me as a whole person. So when you talk about holistic nutrition and holistic wellness, not even nutrition, holistic wellness, mind, body, soul, you as a whole person, and then you're adding coaching and walking down the journey, which means you have someone who is right ringside. Think about when Mike Tyson was in the ring. He had coaches at the ring, Evander Holyfield, all these great boxers we know had ringside coaching. Every round, he got in the corner and he was coached. He was pampered and re-energized mentally. Listen, those coaches are speaking life into the boxer, okay? Even the ones running the track, even the ones playing basketball and football, they talk to them. They look in their eyes and they challenge them and remind them who they are. And then they give them the tips. You go that way, you go that way, you go that way. And then they have a strategy for the game so that they can win. So why don't you have a coach, Charlotte? Why are you taking a chance at your own wellness? Because that's all you got. If you're going to have time, you're going to need your body, mind, and soul to travel with you to make of what time you're given. So this is not by any means something we should take lightly. Thank you so much, Charlotte, for sharing that with us. So our next segment, without further ado, is our Flip the Script fun section, where I get to ask you a list of questions and you get to answer. And also, as an added bonus, our last guest left a question for you without even knowing who you are. And that question is yours. So are you ready, Coach Charlotte, to play Flip the Script?
Yes.
Well, she knows this podcast so well. So I'm going to switch up the questions on her, right? Coach Charlotte, tell us about a time when something really embarrassing happened to you. What did you do? Sorry, I always love it.
Actually, that kind of recently happened.
Oh, really? Good. Fresh news.
So I was helping one of the students, and normally I chase them, run with them, play with them. And this kid is big as me, but I'm running and somehow I fall. Mm-hmm. So not only do I fall, I'm sliding across the floor, and I'm trying to use one hand to catch myself, and then my face started sliding. I was like, okay, it's over. It's like, it's over. And I said, I wish I could get a tape to replay this. So everybody came over to me, you okay? I couldn't move, walk me to get help and everything. But I mean, I was like, oh my goodness, this is so embarrassing. But what I did was flip the script and I was saying, if I wasn't healthy and well and I wasn't working out the way I was, I don't know what would have happened. I probably would have broken some bones.
Right.
So I had to look at it from that point of view. So how you take care of your body is important because I'm 53 and I mean falling and sliding and hitting my head against the wall like that. My lip was swollen. I
Okay,
say.
guys. Was it me or all of us heard she said 53? Girl, lady. What? Well, listen, you just flipped the script for me because I'm about to get some of whatever you're taking over there. Maybe I really need to become a pescatarian. As you look, I thought we were the same age. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry I interrupted that, but you had me like, huh? Where? How? Oh my gosh. Whoa. Okay. So she's definitely going to be my coach here because I need that serum she has at home too. Coach Charlotte, are you kidding me? I'm still laughing. You did fall flat. That's literally falling flat on your face.
Yes, and I'm like, I don't even know what happened. I'm like, I've been running all this time. So right now I'm not running for a while, but I'm slowly walking it up on the treadmill. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But I really do believe, without a doubt, that it came right into my mind. If you weren't taking care of yourself and working out, you don't know what would have happened. You could have had a really bad concussion. You could have broke something. So I said, well, I'm thankful. You know what I mean? And I said, this is how other people need to look at it. So I was an example. And I was like, people would have like, oh my goodness, I don't know how you did it. They said that was the worst fall that they saw in a long time.
So, Coach Charlotte, tell me, what is your workout routine? What does it include, and how long do you? What is your workout routine? How many days? How many hours? Or how many minutes? What do you do? Because that's just gonna have to be flip our script here.
Yes. Well, the gym, I typically go to 3 to 4 days a week. However, I feel like I'm constantly working out every day because in the morning I like to do strength training. It doesn't have to be weights. I can do wall sits and things like that, some push-ups, some planks. So I do that in the morning for like maybe 10 minutes, something really short because I got to go. And then I do the same thing kind of at night. And I feel like that's what keeps my body really, really strong. But I like cardio. I like to jump around and all that type of stuff. When the weather's nice, I like to go running. So I feel like I'm always kind of doing something to, keep moving.
What do you recommend for us a day? What kind of routines?
Start if you're over 40, recommend starting with strength training because you'll lose more weight during strength training than cardio, and you're kind of building up your bones because as we get older, our bones kind of thin out and lose their strength. So I would say first start with strength training, and then cardio. You don't have to really do more than 20 minutes if you're doing a good strength training regimen, squats, things like that, working those abs. You want to do things like that, and you don't always have to sit on the floor. So you can work it standing up. So there's so many things, but I would definitely say strength and work your core.
Strength and work your core. I haven't been working my core enough. So that's where I need to flip the script. Coach Charlotte, what is success for you?
Success for me is wisdom. It is actually having wisdom and knowing what steps to take and being able to share that wisdom. I think that's the most thing when I feel like I'm doing something is when I've been able to help someone else, when I've been able to take that wisdom, turn it into knowledge and use that knowledge to help someone else. And they come back and say, yes, that really helped me to grow. That is everything for me. That is success. Success is not necessarily things or material things you can buy because you know what, to be honest, you can always replace those things. You can have a fire at your house. You can replace those things, a car accident, but you cannot replace your life. You can't replace your mind and the knowledge that you know. So when you can share that with someone and actually change their value system, to me, that's ultimate success, being able to affect others.
Wow, that's awesome. I have the question from our previous guest, and this is from Miles Threat. He asked, if there is one thing you could go back and change, what would it be and what would you do different? If there was one thing you could go back and change, what would it be and what would you do differently?
I believe if I was younger and I can go back and change some things, I would definitely change me being more articulate and being able to express myself and my passion because I had so many things inside of me that nobody even knew. So
Wow.
That would be the one thing that I would change. I think that would drastically have changed my life. Honestly, I could have been somewhere else doing something different across the world. But you know what? God had a plan. So there's always a process for everything. So I'm like, okay, this is what it is.
Yeah, I love it. And I feel like you're doing that now anyway. You're on Mindset Master Moments. You're a global impact envoy. You're going to be taking your message and your teachings around the world at MM360, and so many more opportunities are in store for you. I already know that. Oh my goodness, this has been truly, truly inspiring. Let's have you tell us, Charlotte, how do we connect with you?
Oh, you can connect with me. You can connect with me. My website is payhip.com, Wellness W Charlotte. It stands for Wellness with Charlotte. And you can also find me on Facebook or Instagram under Wellness W Charlotte. You can also find me in my group if you're interested, is Worth It Wellness, because we're all worth it.
Yes. And I'm going to make sure that we have her link in the bio and the description. But guess what, guys? You are a winner. You guys won something for tuning and listening all the way to the end of this episode with Coach Charlotte. She brought us a gift. Coach Charlotte, can you tell us what you brought us?
Yes, what I brought to you guys today is helping you with emotional eating. So it is going to give you all the tools and the power to handle your emotional eating, to overcome it ultimately. So yes, that's a gift for you guys today.
And that is in the description wherever you're watching, on YouTube if you're watching, and if you're listening on podcast, wherever you are on all our networks, it is available in the description. We always make sure that you'll have Coach Charlotte's link, you'll have her Instagram link, her Facebook link, and link to her group, and also the free gift for emotional eating. Connect with her. You want someone in your life that can tell you not just isolate your fitness or your eating, but your holistic wellness. And that's what I love about what my sister here does. So I want to say to you, Coach Charlotte, thank you so much for sharing your incredible journey and insights with us. This has been an enlightening conversation.
You're welcome. Thank you guys so much for listening. And thank you, Dr. Lisa.
Thank you so much. Connect with us at mindsetmastery360.org, where Coach Charlotte and I have the opportunity to work with so many people from across the globe. It's been such a fantastic journey. We thank you so much, listeners and viewers. Connect with Coach Charlotte for your personalized guidance to wellness. Remember that this Mindful Wellness Unveiled episode with Coach Charlotte is going to empower you. So don't sit with it. Share it with someone else and let us know in the comments wherever you listen that this is something that has challenged you to become better and bolder and more of who you are in all holistic wellness. We say thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon. Love, light, peace, and blessings. Bye.